quarter of a century, across 118 professional fights, 91 wins, and better than 50 knockouts, Liam the Hitman Harrison stamped himself as one of the most violent, most beloved, and most flat-out entertaining strikers the sport of Muay Thai has ever produced outside of Thailand, and the single greatest fighter Britain has ever sent into the art of 8 limbs. He was never the slickest. He never floated or feinted or played chess. Harrison fought like a man who had a train to catch, and your legs were in the way. A left hook filed to a razor's edge, a low kick that landed with the moral authority of a wrecking ball, and a refusal to take one backward step that bordered on a personality disorder. When Liam Harrison walked to the ring, the arithmetic was simple. Somebody was getting hurt, and the crowd was getting its money's worth. It's time to tell the story of the kid from Harehills who got battered up and down a Bangkok gym for 6 months and turned himself into a legend. Leeds, Yorkshire, the 5th of October, 1985. This is not on paper, where Muay Thai heroes are grown. Harrison's first love wasn't the ring at all, it was football, and by his own account, he was good enough to play at a decent level around the city. The pivot came at 13, when his cousin Andy Howson, himself a future multiple-time world champion, dragged him along to the Bad Company gym in Harehills, a corner of northeast Leeds where the postcodes are hard and the pavements are harder. There, he fell under the eye of Richard Smith, a former British, Commonwealth, and European kickboxing champion who would remain his trainer and manager for the next 27 years. Harrison walked in a footballer. He walked out, eventually, a killer. He took to it the way a match takes to petrol. He made his amateur debut at 14 in a no-head contact bout and won. Then, just before his 15th birthday, he made his professional debut against a man named Martin Shivnan and knocked him out in roughly 30 seconds. Most 15-year-olds can't microwave a pizza in 30 seconds. Harrison was already collecting scalps. He was so hungry that he walked away from school to chase a world title, a decision that would have looked insane on any careers advisor's spreadsheet and looks like prophecy now. The wins piled up like unpaid parking tickets. His first taste of silverware came against Abdul Arif for the SIMTA Northern Area title. And yes, another first-round knockout. Between 2000 and 2004, he ran his professional record to 29 straight victories, an undefeated teenager battering everyone the domestic scene could feed him. And somewhere in that run, the nickname stuck to him like blood on a canvas, the Hitman. By 17, he was the UK #1, a throne he would not vacate for the rest of his career. The first world title arrived when he was 19, and it arrived sideways. Harrison traveled to Naples, Italy, at the tail end of 2004 to face reigning champion Massimo Rizzoli for the WAKO Pro low-kick kickboxing world title. Rizzoli got injured. In stepped the European champion Emmanuel Di Profetis in a rule set that wasn't even Harrison's own, and the Hitman, unbothered by the paperwork, simply knocked him out to become a world champion as a teenager in a foreign country, in a discipline that wasn't strictly his.
Continua ancora l'attacco di De Profetis, ma anche Harrison e finisce la prima ripresa.
It was the first proof of a trait that would define him. Give Liam Harrison a fist and a target, and the details tended to sort themselves out. Then came the education, and the education hurt. In August 2005, he made his Thai debut at Rajadamnern Stadium against Vithayanoi Sitkuanem and lost a split decision, the first defeat of his professional life.
Didn't half whack him with that left hook as well. He like Undertaker, went boom and boom, straight back up. And I thought, oh. So then round 3, mate, I swear to you, he came out and he fucked me up. Round 3, 4, and 5, he absolutely battered me, took me into clinch, elbowed me, cut me, threw me down. He kneed me so bad in my bladder and round the back of my kidneys. I was pissing blood for a few days and everything. Oh, honestly, I was badly battered.
Back home in Wolverhampton, he lost again.
Strong giant cycle on the first elbow, clear out on the match. Themselves okay, I'm sure, as the rounds go on. Nice lean back from Liam.
To the Omnoi Stadium killer, Duwao Kongodom. For a young man who had been folding opponents in the opening minute, 2 straight losses to Thais was less a setback than a cold bucket of reality poured over the head. He could have stayed home, feasted on the British circuit, and been a big fish in a small, safe pond forever. Instead, he did the maddest, bravest thing available. He moved to Thailand to get beaten up on purpose.
It was mentally draining getting that every day, but after a few months, when I started winning my fights, getting a bit more experience, I started to get as no, I started to level it up a little bit. And by the time I left after 2 years, like even with the top level guys, I were up there with them, I rode in home with them, but it was mentally draining and tough knowing, getting up every morning, if I'm gonna get battered again today. You know what I mean?
That decision, to walk into the lion enclosure and pull up a chair, is the hinge on which the entire legend swings. British fighters simply did not do this at his weight in the mid-2000s.
Cutting tool. Oh, and his own elbow, Carl.
Oh. Liam wise to it.
Oh, and there's a fantastic technique. That's a great one.
Balance. Oh, and he landed it that time.
The Thais at 60-odd kilos were, in his own word, killers, and there were no Westerners down there to hide behind. He came back a different animal. The proof came fast. In December 2005, at Patong Stadium in Phuket, Harrison beat a much larger Russian to claim the Patong super welterweight belt at 68 kilos, miles above his natural fighting weight of around 63. In that same window, he ran into a young Jabbar Askarov and took a fourth-round disqualification win, his first victory on Thai soil. Through 2006, he strung together victory after victory in the kingdom, adding the WPMF world title by outpointing the Japanese champion, Masamitsu Hirashima. And was named Muay CM Magazine's Foreign Fighter of the Year. The kid from Harehills was now a name in the one country where the name actually counted. The crown jewel of the early era came in November 2007, facing the WMC lightweight world champion Nampon PK Stereo, a man who had beaten him earlier that same year.
Switch to a right leg now to show that Liam can use both. Beautiful body shot.
Harrison ran it back in Manchester and detonated him with a fourth-round knockout to rip away the WMC belt.
Saying I'm all right, but he's wobbling. Big punches and it's going to be all over in this round. I really think it's going to be, it's over. It's over.
The revenge template was set. Beat me once, and I'll spend a plane ticket and a training camp making sure I get the last word. Which brings us, inevitably, to the two men who defined the ceiling of his prime. One he could never solve, and one he refused to let beat him. The one he could never solve was Saenchai, arguably the greatest Muay Thai technician who has ever drawn breath, a man carrying a career record of 327 wins, 49 losses, and 2 draws, deep into the 300s. They fought 3 times. London in February 2009.
Left kick.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Oh, and there's a fantastic technique. That's a great one.
Balance. Oh, and he landed it that time. Fantastic.
Both guys.
Oh, that's a good.
Great uppercut. And that left hook landed. Blew away.
Oh,
and a spinning elbow.
A rematch at the Doncaster Dome in April 2011, half an hour from Harrison's front door.
Nice sharp in because he believes after last time. Very nice. Tough of. Nice kick from Harrison! This young man wants it. A left hook. But again, when you fight this nice level, kick on the inside of the leg. Very clever move. The power is with Harrison. Nice left hook from him. Good elbow from Harrison to the side of the head of the man from Thailand. Great. Good left hook from Harrison. A nice elbow. Wobbles the legs of the man from Thailand. A great right hook from Harrison. There you go. Great shots going in. Beautiful technique from Harrison.
And Macau in December 2012 with 2 world titles on the line.
เรามาดูกันยกที่2นะครับไม่ใช่ตัวเล็กนะครับของฝรั่งได้ครับเดี๋ยวดูนะฮะทั้งคู่เจอกัน2ครั้งแรกนั้นเบอร์ 1ตลอดการของมวยไทยแล้วนี่ก็แพ้ให้กับแสนชัยมา2ไฟล์แล้วนะครับขยับข้างบนนะครับเทียร์บ้างนะครับโอ้โหดูเตะสะบัดโอ้ย
3 fights, 3 decision losses. Harrison hit him properly, with the kind of shots that turn other men's lights off. And Saenchai soaked them up like a sponge soaks up spilled tea, and answered every single time with something Harrison had never seen before. The Hitman would later describe the futility with the gallows humor that made fans adore him. The one he refused to let beat him was Anuwat Kaewsamrit, the Hands of Siam, a 4-time Rajadamnern champion with concrete in his gloves. In 2009, in Jamaica of all places, Anuwat handed Harrison the first stoppage loss of his career and took his WMC world title with it. For a man who had never been stopped, it was a wound to the identity as much as the body. So Harrison did what Harrison does. In March 2010, at the Men Arena in Manchester, he dragged Anuwat, still feared, still knocking people cold, into 5 hard rounds and outpointed him clean. Revenge, in front of his own people, against one of the most dangerous punchers on the planet. He has called it, to this day, one of the finest wins of his life. That same year, he stormed into the inaugural Thai fight tournament, forced Behzad Rafik Deuce to quit in the second round, and carved up Soichiro Miyakoshi with elbows, before being disqualified from the bracket for missing weight, a setback he blamed on illness, and which stung all the more for how well he'd been fighting. The engine kept turning. In March 2012, he leg-kicked the Belarusian standout Andrei Kulebin into a third-round TKO, the low kicks chopping the base out from under a genuinely elite opponent like a lumberjack working overtime. And then, around 2013, the wheels wobbled. Harrison went chasing the bigger promotions and the bigger checks, and the bigger promotions bit back. A run through Glory and Max Muay Thai produced a grim 4-fight losing streak, a knockout loss to Mosab Amrani, a cut stoppage defeat to Masaki Nawari at Glory 8 in Tokyo, and a decision loss to Sagadao Petpayathai in China. For the first time, the narrative around Harrison had a whiff of the past tense about it. He answered it the only way he knew, halting the slide with a unanimous decision win over Dylan Salvador in Manchester in November 2013, and then found the promotion that would give his career its second wind. That promotion was Yokkao, and the belts came thick and fast. His Yokkao debut in March 2014 saw him outpoint Hussein Benoui over 5 rounds after his original opponent withdrew. In September 2014, at the Liverpool Olympia, he took a 5-round decision over Mehdi Zatu to become WBC Muay Thai welterweight world champion. The elite Thais still had his number on their day. Singdam Kiatmu outpointed him at a Yokkao show in Bolton in October 2015, but Harrison kept swinging with the best on earth and kept winning belts. He edged the American-based veteran Malepet by split decision at Lion Fight 23 in July 2015. Then, in March 2016 in Bolton, he outworked Japan's Tetsuya Yamato over 5 rounds to claim the Yokkao World 65kg title, and that same year added a Combat League world title in Italy. The Yamato belt got its first defense in March 2017 at Yokkao 24 against the young Frenchman, Ryan Meki. Meki opened a cut on Harrison's forehead with an early elbow. Harrison responded by walking him onto a series of hooks and closing the show with a 3rd-round right hand. That August, he added an ICO world title by stopping Charles Francois in Birmingham. Somewhere in this stretch, the promotional tally of his world titles crept toward 8, across half a dozen sanctioning bodies and multiple weight classes and rule sets, a body of work that on its own would make him the most decorated British striker in the sport's history. But there was one stage left, the biggest one, and it would give him his most glorious night and take the most from him in return. In 2018, Harrison signed a non-exclusive deal with One Championship, then rapidly becoming the richest and loudest platform in the sport. He arrived a 33-year-old, 8-time world champion with a bomb in each hand, and the circle did not care about his CV. His debut, on December 7, 2018 against the 2-division champion Pechmorakot, ended with the Thai catching him in the 2nd round for a stoppage. His second fight, in June 2019 in Shanghai, was a 3-round war with the granite-tough Rodlek PK Saenchai, a genuine firefight that Harrison lost by unanimous decision, dropped early and outgunned late by a man with the best part of 200 fights on his ledger. 2 fights, 2 losses, on the sport's grandest stage. The obituaries sharpened their pencils again. Harrison dropped to bantamweight and rewrote the ending. In January 2020, in Bangkok, he flattened Mohammed bin Mahmoud in the 1st round, a step-through left hook, a follow of elbows, and a closing uppercut that folded the Malaysian at the 2:03 mark. The old venom was still in the fangs. And then, on April 22, 2022, at 156 in Singapore, Liam Harrison produced the single greatest round of his life, and one of the wildest in the history of the promotion. Against the elbow zombie Muang Thai PK Saenchai, Harrison was dropped twice inside the opening minute, a head kick, then a straight left, and under One's 3 knockdown rule, he was 1 touch from oblivion. What happened next did not obey the laws of combat sports.
Here comes the zombie. Oh, he caught him! The edge is back! He drops it! He drops it! Go back after 2 huge knockdowns! Oh, and now he got him again! Again! This is stupid! This is crazy! Go, Liam! He's done it!
5 knockdowns in 139 seconds. Down twice, Harrison rose from the dead and put Muay Thai on the canvas 3 times in a row, finishing it at the 2:19 mark of the first round. The veteran commentator Michael Schiavello, who by his own admission had been calling kickboxing and Muay Thai since 1994, was reduced to something close to a stunned prayer at ringside. "I thought I'd seen it all. I'd never seen anything like that." One chairman, Chatri Sityodtong, handed him a $100,000 bonus, double the usual amount, and by one's own accounting, only the second $100,000 performance bonus in the promotion's history, plus a shot at the world title. The money, characteristically, he barely touched. He donated a chunk of it to a friend battling early-onset Parkinson's and saved the rest for a rainy day. The fight was later named ONE's 2022 Muay Thai Fight of the Year. At 36, past his physical best, Harrison had just delivered the defining highlight of a 22-year career. 4 months later, the rain came. On August 27, 2022, in Singapore, Harrison challenged the long-reigning bantamweight Muay Thai king Nong Ogayang Hadao for the belt he had chased his entire life. It lasted just over 2 minutes. Nong O aimed a low kick not at the meat of the thigh, but at the joint, and it landed like a car crash. By one's own account, the sequence tore the anterior cruciate ligament, the medial collateral ligament, and the meniscus in his knee. As Harrison later told TalkSport MMA, it wasn't even one clean strike. His leg planted awkwardly, the knee buckled sideways, and by the time he took another step, the damage was catastrophic. The dream died in the first round, on the biggest night of his life, 4 months after the greatest performance of his life. The whiplash between those 2 nights would test more than his body. What followed was the hardest fight of his life, and it had no opponent. The surgery was brutal. The rehab was worse. Harrison, a man biologically incapable of sitting still, could not bend his own leg for weeks, and the psychological toll dwarfed the physical one.
I wasn't mentally prepped for how hard it was going to be. I just thought, it'd be same as any other injury, a couple of months, shake it off in there. No, it's a very, very tough injury, especially at my age. I'm 38 now, do you know what I mean?
Fight after fight fell through. A booking against Pongsiri in January 2023, scrapped for surgery. A comeback against John Lineker in January 2024, scrapped when the knee flared again after stem cell treatment. A bout with Katsuki Kitano at 167 in June 2024, blown up at the weigh-ins. A flirtation with a Floyd Mayweather exhibition, gone when injury forced him out. 16 months and 14 days after the Nong O disaster, he was still not back. When he finally returned, it was against another legend, and it did not go to script. On September 6th, 2024, at 168 in Denver, Harrison met the Thai hard hitter Saenchai or Kwanmuang in a catchweight war. He started beautifully, thudding leg kicks, the old left hook flashing, but the ring rust and the years told. Saenchai cracked him with a right hand, dropped him again, and after a third knockdown, the referee waved it off in the second round. And then, in front of a packed ball arena, Liam Harrison walked to the center of the cage and placed his gloves on the canvas. It should have ended there. A gladiator's exit, gloves in the dirt, dignity intact. But this is Liam Harrison, and Liam Harrison does not do tidy endings. On the 8th of March 2025, on his own promotion, Hitman Fight League, at the Bowlers Exhibition Center in Stretford, Liam Harrison laced them up for what he called his last dance against the Spanish veteran Isaac Araya, a 50-plus fight campaigner, with the prestigious WBC Muay Thai diamond belt on the line. In front of a sold-out home crowd, the 40-year-old wound back the clock. He walked Araya down, broke him with combinations, and then went to the oldest weapon in the arsenal, the low kick, the shot that had chopped down half his victims across a quarter of a century. A third-round TKO by leg kick, and with it, Harrison became just the 11th fighter in the 20-year history of the WBC Muay Thai diamond title to hold it, a brand new world honor, won at 40, in the last fight of a 27-year career. The open loop closes exactly where it should, not with the tragedy in Singapore, but with a coronation in Manchester. He was briefly booked to return to ONE against the Myanmar Lethwei icon, So Lin U, in Denver in August 2025, proof that they truly could not keep him away. But that bout fell through, and this time, the retirement stuck. So, here is the record card on the Hitman. By his own count, the figure he gives himself, a professional career of 118 fights, 91 wins, better than 50 of them by knockout, against roughly 26 losses and 2 draws. a fully documented core of 57-25-1 with 37 stoppages, swollen by the many undocumented Thai bouts of his prime. A promotional count of 8 world titles across WAKO Pro, WMC, WPMF, WBC, Muay Thai, Yokkao, Kombat League, and beyond, capped by that 2025 WBC Diamond Belt, 3-time lead sportsman of the year, Muay Siam's foreign fighter of the year, the only foreigner to seriously threaten a prime Saenchai at the weight, a pioneer who dragged British Muay Thai from a drafty church hall hobby onto Amazon Prime Video, and one of very few strikers in the sport ever invited onto Joe Rogan's podcast.
It's key in anything in life, in any role in life, I believe. If you want to be the best at it, you've got to be obsessed by it, you've got to give your life it, you've got to live it, you've got to breathe it, you've got to...
Today, he coaches out of the brand new Bad Company gym he co-owns in Leeds, runs the Hitman Fight League that gave him his fairy tale finale, tours seminars, and passes 27 years of hard-won violence to the next crop of British kids who, because of him, now grow up believing a Yorkshireman can rule the art of 8 limbs. He came in a footballer and leaves a legend with a battered knee, a diamond belt, and not a single second of that war left in the tank. Not the slickest, not the most decorated, but pound for pound, drama for drama, blood for blood, the most exciting fighter these islands ever produced.